Tonight, a South Austin neighborhood doesn't know what to make of a local homeless man. Residents say he uses a chainsaw and machete to cut down trees in the middle of the night. Now, he's taking a sledgehammer to city property. Today, he actually spoke to us, sort of. Fox 7 Austin's Meredith Aldis.
You ever watch a movie trailer or TV show trailer or hear the hype about something and you get so interested in the promise of the premise that you know for a fact that you gotta watch this all the way through? Well, the opening to that local news segment is exactly that for me. Pump this story into my veins. I want to see where it goes. Hopefully there's video. I am so excited. I hope you're excited. And that's why we're just gonna jump into it after I thank everybody who signed up over on actualjusticewarrior.com/join and Patreon and Subscribestar and my YouTube members. No sponsor today. This one is for you guys.
Residents in the Westgate neighborhood say the chainsaw-slinging tree chopper is back.
So I already love this story. They called him a chainsaw-slinging tree chopping homeless man that apparently is wreaking havoc all over this Austin neighborhood. And just when you thought he was gone, just when you thought you were at the end of the movie, guess what? Just like every slasher in every movie ever, he has returned and he is wreaking havoc across this neighborhood. And for the love of God, I've not watched this all the way through at the time of me shooting this. I hope there's video. Give me some surveillance video so that I can deliver that surveillance video to you guys out there in the audience, because I think we all need to know what's going on in Austin, which is distinctly the most left-wing part of the state of Texas.
It's just migrated to another part of the neighborhood.
Now near Cherry Creek Drive and Westgate Boulevard. Residents say Rami Zuwaida has taken a sledgehammer to city property. The Watershed Protection Department placed the boulders there a few months ago to avoid people from driving into the riparian zone.
So according to this story so far, this guy who's just running around with a chainsaw, homeless person, and a machete, cutting down the trees, doing all kinds of crazy has also come back with the sledgehammer, and he's using that sledgehammer to crush boulders. Now, obviously, there is a Mundane Matt reference in here somewhere. I don't know exactly how to insert it in here, but I will mention it so those of you who remember all the way back when to that part of the story will remember this. But this guy is just smashing boulders. It's weird. It's like he's a homeless person, like he's like part of a zombie, but you know how like some zombies kind of like recreate or walk the path that they walked in life? It seems like that's what he's doing. Like he thinks he's a lumberjack, now he thinks he's a construction worker. He went from chopping down trees to smashing up boulders, which are put there in order to prevent people from driving into a construction zone. And again, this is just a weird story all the way around.
This level of escalation with the boulders is just really worrisome. I mean, this is our community. We have a walking trail 10 feet away from us here. We really can't have this happen.
Heffley says a neighbor jogging saw Zuwaida breaking the boulders and asked him to stop. Now, this is written on the sidewalk saying, "Hey, tough guy jogger, I'll be back tonight or the night after, FYI.
Okay, I know, again, that this is like the beginning of the movie where they haven't shown you the monster, they haven't shown you the killer, but how is the local news not revealing what this guy looks like, who this person is? I know they just named him, but the fact that he was smashing boulders, some guy was jogging through the area, then he saw him smashing those boulders and said, hey, cut it out, and then this guy decided to carve in, I don't know if the cement was wet, but write in a threatening note to the tough guy jogger that I'll be back, is absolutely legendary. I'm telling you, there is a horror movie premise present in this portion of Austin, and I think we all need to see it through. Do you know how excited I am for this? I've never been more excited for anything at all in my whole life ever, and if they don't show me some kind of surveillance video, some kind of documentation of these mythical events, I'm actually going to be quite sad, and you guys should be quite sad and quite disappointed.
Mental health is obviously an issue, and we just don't know at what point he's going to snap and take it to another level.
We've tried to make it a place that families can come, and we've succeeded at that. And it's been that way for several years now. And to have that threatened is really disturbing.
Zuwaida is also known for doing other things, throwing a machete up on a post inside the Cherry Creek Community Garden.
Look, I know that some people listen to the show on Apple and Spotify, the podcasting platforms, but that machete is like embedded into the wood, meaning that this guy is not only a chainsaw wielding maniac, he's not only a sledgehammer wielding maniac, but he's also using the melee weapon of a machete as a projectile weapon. Legendary in every way. I cannot wait to see him.
Throwing a machete up on a post inside the Cherry Creek Community Garden, spray painting boulders, building sculptures.
Okay, so he is in fact spray painting the boulders, and honestly, of all the things to be concerned about, I think this is the least interesting one. I think the most interesting thing is, where is this homeless person getting all of these tools in order to wreak all this havoc? However, there is something that the news just put out there that I cannot let go. Let's play that part one more time.
Building sculptures.
Okay, let's be clear about something. I know I just shot a video related to statues and all this modern art being put in place of our historic statues and what we typically think of as beautiful, but I draw the line right here. That is not a sculpture. That is a bunch of sticks piled together in a weird way. Don't try to paint this guy out to be a misunderstood artist. Obviously, he's a crazy person, possibly a killer, possibly indestructible, coming back with a sequel after sequel's worth of weapons, and I think we need to be cautious of that. Maybe don't worry about him spray painting the boulders too much, just worry about the fact that this person has access to a chainsaw, a machete that he's adept at throwing, and a sledgehammer, and you're wondering when he's going to freak out, when he's going to lose his mind. I think when he flung a machete, when he threw it as a projectile weapon and embedded it in the post of a community garden, that's when he crossed the line. That's when he got a little bit dangerous. But this local news segment promised an interview with this guy. They promised we would hear his voice, and I am so eager for that. I'm predicting that he's going to look like Leatherface, or he's going to look like Jason from Friday the 13th, but I don't know. I can't wait, and I know you can't wait. Let's cut to that interview.
And yelling early in the morning.
Screaming, cussing, and if it's not directly under the bridge, it's like somewhere down in the creek, so it's like, where's it coming from?
Okay, I'm not going to lie. I kind of really like this guy because of that motion right there. He's like, this guy's screaming. By the way, we saw a glimpse of him running around with the stick and all that. And he's like, it's unsettling because he's screaming, but sometimes he's near the creek, sometimes he's under the bridge, and I don't know where he is. Dude, you're in a horror movie. Get out right now. Get in your car and take off. If you don't know where he is and he has access to all these weapons, you're the stoner that gets killed very early on. Right after the attractive blonde who's incredibly promiscuous gets offed, you're up next. It's a wrap for you, bro. Get out of there. Stop trying to be the fun guy. Trust me, I am the harbinger. I am warning you that you're in danger. Get out now while you still can.
Which is just kind of unsettling.
Residents say they've been dealing with it for about 6 months and want something to be done.
There's got to be something that a professional can do in regards to helping. But this person needs to be, removed and rehabilitated so that they can be put back into society because they're just unwell.
Okay, this guy is definitely going to get killed second, if not first, with that kind of attitude. He sees the threat. He is in a horror movie. This guy has access to multiple different weapons. He appears to be indestructible. This has been going on for 6 months, and he thinks that the solution is for somebody to grab this guy and rehabilitate him. He's like, there's got to be a way to rehabilitate this guy, and that way he's going to be a productive member of society. Obviously, he has not seen the first Halloween movie. It's not like you take this guy, he's the boogeyman, to the mental health hospital, and that ends up working out good. He's gonna get out. He's gonna seek his revenge. You are up first, bro. You're in the top 2 people that are gonna get killed. I don't know how to warn you other than to say, get out now while you still can. Stop trying to pretend that this guy's the victim, because he is the author of your demise.
When he is arrested and it gets to the court level, something needs to be done there, because basically it's dropping at the court level. Charges are being dropped.
See, this lady at least knows what's up. He keeps getting arrested over and over again, and each and every time they end up dropping it because, again, Austin's this left-wing place, and left-wing places have this idea that prosecuting criminals, that's stupid. Why would we ever do that? So we're getting to the point where it keeps escalating and escalating, and we're going to end up in a lot of trouble.
After talking with residents, Zaweda rode up on his bicycle.
There he is.
He didn't want to be filmed, but he agreed to talk with Fox 7 to explain why he does what he does.
Look, all joking aside, this guy has access to dangerous weapons. He's threatening people in this area. He's not leaving. He keeps escalating his behavior, and it is only a matter of time before these people get hurt. They have like a little walking trail, which he tends to frequent. He also ends up hiding under the bridge, hiding by the creek. He's screaming all the time. And again, he's holding these weapons and he has access to them repeatedly. So these people are in danger. They are under threat. I'm making fun of them here and there because they're upset. They're going to the local news. But in reality, they're not outraged enough. What happens when this guy is having a particularly bad day and there's a kid riding their bike in this neighborhood, walking this walking path, and that kid gets seriously hurt? Is that the point in time where the Austin police, where the Austin court system is actually going to intervene? Does it have to get that far? What about these women that are walking their dogs and all that? We've heard stories about disturbed individuals beating animals to death out of New York City, and that was a homeless guy who was a repeat offender that they kept releasing over and over again. So this is what is going to happen in this area. It's not okay. It's not acceptable. This idea that we need to figure out a way to rehabilitate him before we can do anything is absurd. What you need to do is remove him, incapacitate him, so that you can reduce the amount of damage that he can possibly have. He's already committed a bunch of crimes. He's already committed a bunch of vandalisms. There are some things that you can do, even if you want to get this guy into treatment, to get him out of this area and put him through those treatments. This idea that, oh, we're just going to dismiss the charges over and over again because this guy's suffering from poverty is just absurd. He's mentally disturbed. It is a problem. He is a threat to the people around him, and I don't think you have to wait for him to actually kill somebody or severely injure them to notice that that's what's going on.
Zueda says he's been working on those boulders for the last 3 nights, and he's taking out Satanism.
So his motivation for working on these boulders is that he's removing the Satanism from the boulders. Also, I did notice before that this sculpture, if you're going to call it that, it's just an organization of rocks, was a cross. So I thought maybe that had something to do with it. But what I didn't notice until the news zoomed in on it was that he drew a smiley face on it. There's like a very happy smiley face on it, which makes me think that this guy not only thinks like a cross, obviously, get rid of the Satanism, but it has to be a happy cross because a sad cross would actually not be super effective. But here's the thing, and here's where it's going to get quite serious, and that's in the next thing that he said. And I know it's all fun and games until somebody gets hurt, but let me be clear, somebody will get hurt because I heard this next clip. You have to hear it, because these are the actions that he's taking against boulders that have Satanism in them. But guess what else he thinks has Satanism in it?
He says the reason he made the sculptures about 2 months ago was because the homeowner across the street is a Satanist and he wanted to present his work in front of the neighbor's house.
Yeah, that's right. The homeowner across the street from where he's doing all this stuff, where he's showing up repeatedly with a bunch of weapons, in his mind is a Satanist. Look at what he's doing to everything around that he thinks has Satanism infused in it. He's embedding a machete in it. He's smashing it with a sledgehammer. He's using a chainsaw on it. This is a guy with access to weapons. He's taking actions in the real world. He's threatening people, all because he sees Satanism around every corner, and he's targeting a homeowner in specific, and yet the city of Austin is not doing anything, and yet they're releasing this guy over and over again. Imagine living in this neighborhood knowing that this ticking time bomb is after you specifically, is targeting your home, is angry with you, is escalating his behavior over time, and trying to raise a family there, trying to protect your kids there. Again, this is horrible in every possible way, and as funny as it is to point out that he drew a smiley face on his cross sculpture, and that this tree thing is definitely not a sculpture, it's deadly serious. This isn't actually a horror movie. I was making those jokes earlier, but it could be a horror movie because the city of Austin is refusing to do its damn job. Each and every time we hear about these cases where there are all the warning signs in the world, where there's all this past criminality, where somebody at some point could have intervened, they don't do it, and we wonder why these situations go south. We wonder why people get hurt. That's what's going on right here.
The Watershed Protection Department says they're aware of the situation and are assessing the damage. They say they're working with APD to file a criminal mischief report. APD says they're monitoring the area.
Yeah, monitoring the area is not good enough. Think about how ridiculous and absurd that is. In a bunch of places in this country, if you cut down a tree without permission from your city, you're going to face fines and all kinds of problems and all of that. This guy is doing all that stuff. He's doing it in property that he doesn't own, and all of a sudden they're powerless. You try to control your own home, your own property, and these people will be on you with fines and fees and all that. But this guy, repeated threats, repeated destruction of public property, and all that, repeated arrests, and they're like, oh, we're just monitoring the situation. Maybe at some point when he throws that machete into that neighbor that he thinks is a Satanist, we might intervene at that point.
Court records show Zoeda has 2 active misdemeanor cases for criminal trespassing, and prosecutors have declined to pursue 3 other misdemeanors.
2 misdemeanors, according to court records, for trespassing. So this guy also shows up on property that's not his. Is it crazy to point out that these signs are this obvious? On top of that, you have 3 misdemeanors that prosecutors are just deciding not to pursue. They're not going to go forward with it. So even if he does get a conviction related to those misdemeanors, he's not going to be away for long. Again, I don't know how much bigger of a red flag you could possibly need before you intervene, but they just refuse to do so. I know I'm repeating myself throughout this video, but it's because you have to be insane to not realize that this is a problem. Guy is showing up with a bunch of weapons: machete, chainsaw, sledgehammer. Guy is threatening people in this area repeatedly. Guy is out of his mind, he's crazy, and he thinks he's fighting Satanism in the Boulders, which he's smashing, and he has identified a neighbor that's definitely a Satanist that he's doing all this in opposition to. A history of trespassing and several open cases, several arrests that are just not being pursued. What more would you need before you realize that maybe you should actually take the other charges seriously and not wait for him to commit a serious violent offense against a person? But hey, maybe I'm just crazy. Those are just my thoughts. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. If you like this video, show them by leaving a like, subscribe for more content, follow me on all my social medias, support me via the support links in the description box of this video. This has been me talking about a situation that is on the cusp of spiraling out of control. Till next time.